There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than words ever could. You've been through enough heartache and disappointment to understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Let's be real for a second. The world can be chaotic. People will come and go, and you may find yourself giving pieces of your soul to those who never truly appreciated your worth. You've been there, haven't you? Giving everything, trying to make others see your value, but it never seems to reach them. But here's the thing, your silence is your strength. It's a reminder that you don't need to chase after anyone's approval. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to beg for anyone's attention or love. When you walk away from situations that no longer serve you, when you choose silence over words, you're not being weak. No, my friend, you are reclaiming your power. You are saying, I am enough as I am. If you can't see it, that's your loss. The truth is, when you stop fighting for people who aren't fighting for you, something shifts. You step into a space where your peace is your priority, where your happiness is no longer dependent on others. People may leave and they may hurt you, but your silence will show them that you were never the problem. It was always them. When they realize what they've lost, when they see the void you left behind, they will regret it. And that's not your concern anymore. What matters now is your healing, your growth, and the beautiful life you're building for yourself. Let them regret losing you, but do not lose yourself in that process. You are worth so much more than their silence ever suggested. Your power lies in the strength to let go, to walk away, and to continue on your journey towards the life you deserve. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with expectations, opinions, and noise from others, silence becomes a rare and precious gift we can give ourselves. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we must explain ourselves, justify our feelings, or chase after the approval of others in order to feel validated. But in doing so, we lose sight of one of the most powerful forms of self-respect, the ability to stand in silence without needing anyone else's permission to exist as we are. When you choose silence, you are not withdrawing or retreating out of weakness or fear. Instead, you are actively choosing to honor your own worth. You're making a conscious decision to stop chasing people who don't see you for who you truly are. It's like you're telling the universe, I don't need external validation. I'm enough just as I am. This act of self-respect is not something that comes easily to everyone. We live in a world that constantly tells us to speak up, to fight for attention, to demand respect. But what if the most powerful thing you could do was simply remain still? Remain silent, and allow your true value to shine without any words. Silence has a way of creating space for your soul to breathe. When you stop engaging in the constant need to explain or justify yourself to others, you free up the energy that was previously wasted on chasing after things that weren't meant for you. You stop diluting your essence by accommodating people who never appreciated the real you. The truth is, the more you talk to people who don't value you, the more you diminish your own self-worth. But silence in all its quiet strength does the opposite. It magnifies your presence without saying a word. In that silence, you reconnect with yourself. You begin to understand what truly matters to you. Your peace becomes more important than the need for validation from anyone else. You realize that you are enough. Not because someone else tells you so, but because you finally learned to honor yourself from within. Silence then becomes a symbol of that inner peace, an outer reflection of your inner knowing that you no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. You know your worth. You no longer feel the need to shout it from the rooftops. Your very silence becomes a statement louder than any words could ever be. The choice to be silent in moments of conflict when others are demanding explanations or expecting responses speaks volumes about your boundaries and your emotional intelligence. It's an invitation to protect your energy, to maintain your inner peace, and to resist the urge to engage in unnecessary drama. In choosing silence, you are refusing to lower your standards and engage in anything that doesn't align with your self-respect. You are letting the world know that your value doesn't depend on the validation of others. It exists inherently within you. People often misunderstand silence as weakness. They believe that if you don't argue back or fight for attention, you've somehow given up. But the reality is, silence requires great strength. It requires the courage to stand firm in your own identity, to let go of the need for external approval, and to refuse to engage in anything that disrupts your peace. And when people around you see that you no longer feel the need to explain yourself or fight for a place in their lives, that's when they realize your true power. They will come to understand that your silence isn't a lack of voice, but a decision to reserve your energy for the things that truly matter. It's important to recognize that silence isn't about punishing others. It's not about holding grudges or keeping people at arm's length out of spite. It's about protecting your emotional well-being. It's about saying to the world, I don't need to engage in this chaos. I am worthy of more than this drama. In those moments, silence is your declaration of self-respect, a reminder that you no longer need to fight to be heard because you know your worth without anyone else's acknowledgement. And as you move forward, letting go of the need to chase after people's approval, your self-respect deepens. You begin to realize that silence is not just an external act. It's a reflection of how you've learned to love and accept yourself. When you stop bending over backwards for others, when you stop explaining and justifying who you are and what you need, you finally start to live in alignment with your true self. And that, my friend, is the most profound form of self-respect there is. Healing is not always loud or dramatic. Often it's quiet and subtle, found in the moments of stillness we choose to embrace. When you've been hurt, whether by a relationship, a friendship, or an experience, it can feel like there's a constant internal noise, a whirlwind of thoughts, emotions, and questions swirling inside you. How do you move on from the pain? How do you heal when you're constantly trying to find answers or make sense of the hurt? Sometimes the answer is simpler than we think. Silence. Silence, when embraced, becomes a powerful tool in the healing process. It gives you the space to process your emotions without the distraction of outside influences or the noise of others' opinions. We live in a society that often rushes us to move on, to get over it, and to keep going despite our pain. But healing doesn't work on a timeline. It doesn't demand that you force yourself to feel better or be strong when you're not ready. Instead, silence allows you to honor your feelings in their rawest form. It gives you permission to sit with your hurt without judgment, without pressure, and without the need for validation. In the silence, you begin to unravel the layers of pain that you've been carrying, layers that were buried beneath the constant noise of life. You start to process what happened, not in a way that demands immediate resolution, but in a way that acknowledges your need to grieve, to understand, and to release. There is no need to rush. Silence teaches you that it's okay to feel all the emotions that come with healing. The sadness, the anger, the confusion. These feelings are not weaknesses. They are part of the process, part of your journey toward wholeness. In the midst of silence, you start to reconnect with yourself in ways that were lost when you were caught up in the hustle of external validation. You give yourself permission to breathe, to simply be. When you stop seeking answers from others, you begin to find your own. Silence becomes the space where your inner wisdom has the chance to surface. Your intuition, which may have been drowned out by noise and external expectations, finds clarity in these moments of quiet. It's in these moments of reflection that you gain the perspective needed to truly heal, not just on the surface, but deep within your soul. Healing in silence also means letting go of the need to explain your pain to others. It means releasing the pressure to justify why you feel the way you do. You no longer owe anyone an explanation for your journey. You don't need to explain your silence, your sadness, or your need for solitude. Silence becomes a form of self-compassion, an act of giving yourself the space to heal on your own terms. You stop waiting for others to validate your feelings, and instead you validate yourself. You allow yourself to feel what you need to feel without interference or expectation. There is also a deep peace that comes with embracing silence as a part of your healing process. The external world is filled with noise, people's opinions, the expectations placed upon us, the constant demands of life. But in silence, you find your peace. You realize that healing doesn't require anything more than your willingness to be still, to sit with your emotions, and to trust that the process is unfolding exactly as it needs to. In this stillness, you are reminded that the healing journey is not linear. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and it often requires pauses, moments where you simply breathe, reflect, and allow your heart to catch up with your mind. Silence ultimately gives you the strength to move forward. It's in the quiet moments where you find the courage to let go of what no longer serves you. As you embrace the healing power of silence, you come to realize that this period of solitude doesn't last forever. It's a necessary phase in your journey, one that allows you to emerge stronger, wiser, and more whole than before. The healing doesn't always look the way we expect it to, but it is always happening. In silence, you heal in the way that your heart and soul need, not in the way that the world tells you to. As you learn to sit with your pain in silence, you reclaim your ability to heal on your own terms. You stop looking for shortcuts or quick fixes, and instead embrace the truth that healing is a process, one that requires patience, gentleness, and understanding. In this process, you come to understand that silence isn't just about the absence of sound. It's about the presence of peace, the presence of self-compassion, and the presence of your true self. In silence, you find the strength to heal, and in that healing, you find the peace that was always meant for you. In a world that often celebrates noise, chaos, and constant engagement, choosing silence becomes an act of incredible strength. It's easy to think that strength is demonstrated through shouting, through defending yourself, through constantly engaging with others to make your point heard. But in reality, the greatest strength often lies in what you don't say, in what you choose to withhold, in the boundaries you create through your silence. Silence isn't about avoidance, it's about self-preservation. It's about knowing when to step back, when to remove yourself from a situation that doesn't serve you, and when to protect your peace. When you choose silence in the face of conflict or disrespect, you are demonstrating one of the most powerful acts of emotional strength. It's easy to get caught up in the drama, to react impulsively, to fight for your dignity when it feels threatened. But silence requires a level of control and emotional maturity that many people overlook. It's about recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every comment or action needs a response. Silence teaches you that you don't have to engage with everything that comes your way. You are not obligated to defend yourself against people who don't truly care to understand you. Instead, you reserve your energy for the moments that truly matter. Moments where your voice is heard and your boundaries are respected. In those moments, when you choose silence over responding, you are setting a boundary. You are saying, this is where I draw the line. I won't let your negativity, your disrespect, or your need for drama affect my peace. Setting boundaries through silence doesn't mean that you are weak or passive. Quite the opposite. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful things you can do to protect your emotional well-being. Silence becomes a tool to preserve your energy, your mental space, and your emotional health. It's a way of taking control over your environment without having to engage in a power struggle or an unnecessary exchange. When you allow silence to speak for you, it carries weight. It says that you are no longer willing to tolerate disrespect or negativity. You are strong enough to walk away. Strong enough to let go of toxic people and situations, and strong enough to maintain your peace regardless of what others may try to provoke. Silence in this way becomes a declaration of your worth. It's not a retreat. It's an assertion of your boundaries. It says, I will no longer allow you to cross my emotional boundaries. I will not waste my time or energy on things that drain me. This strength is not just about external situations. It's also about how you relate to yourself. Silence gives you the space to define your own limits, to recognize what you are willing to tolerate and what you are not. It teaches you to honor your own needs, to stand firm in your convictions, and to protect your own emotional landscape. When you practice silence, you cultivate a deep sense of self-respect that resonates from within. You are saying, I am worthy of peace. I will not allow anyone to take that from me. What's truly empowering about silence is that it communicates everything without needing to say a word. In moments of conflict, silence holds a mirror to others and forces them to face the consequences of their actions. When they realize that you're not engaging, that you're not reacting to their provocations, it shifts the dynamic. They are forced to acknowledge their behavior, to see that their words and actions no longer have the power to affect you. This, in turn, can be incredibly empowering for you. Silence shows that you are not ruled by others' words or actions. You are no longer reactive. You are in control. Furthermore, silence teaches you the importance of choosing when to speak and when not to. It's not just about withholding words. It's about making conscious decisions about when to engage and when to protect yourself. Sometimes silence is the most powerful statement you can make, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. It's about knowing that some people are simply not worth your time or emotional investment. And by staying silent, you let them know that their negativity no longer has a hold on you. The strength in silence lies in its intentionality. It's not about avoiding confrontation or suppressing your emotions. It's about using your voice only when it truly matters. It's about knowing that your words have power and that you don't need to waste them on situations or people that don't deserve them. Silence shows that you are selective with your energy, and you know that it's more valuable than engaging in petty drama or unnecessary conflict. One of the most profound truths about silence is its ability to reveal the true nature of people and situations. We live in a world where actions often speak louder than words, but sometimes it's the absence of words, the deliberate choice of silence, that exposes the reality of things. When you stop speaking, stop defending yourself, and stop trying to engage with people who no longer serve your best interests, you give them the space to show who they really are. And that, my friend, is the gift that silence gives you. We often try to see the best in others, even when they've shown us time and again that they aren't capable of treating us with the respect and love we deserve. We make excuses, we justify their behavior, and we continue to give them second, third, and fourth chances, hoping that they'll change. But silence, when you choose to step back and not respond to their actions or words, takes away the distractions. It removes the noise that clouds our judgment and forces us to see things clearly. In silence, you stop chasing after people's validation. Instead, you allow them the space to reveal their true character. People will show you who they are when they realize that you no longer need them, when they realize that your silence no longer depends on their approval. This is when they will either rise to the occasion and demonstrate the respect, care, and love that you've always deserved, or they will reveal their true nature, one that may not have been as genuine as you once believed. Silence exposes those who are only in your life for their own gain, those who never really cared about your well-being, those who were only interested in what you could give them. The beauty of silence is that it's not confrontational. It doesn't demand a reaction or a response. It simply allows the truth to emerge naturally. In a situation where you've been hurt or misunderstood, silence forces others to confront their own behavior. It's in the absence of your words that their actions become impossible to ignore. No longer can they deflect, avoid, or blame you for their mistakes. They are left with nothing but the reality of their own choices. And while this may seem uncomfortable or painful at first, it is in these moments of revelation that you are freed from the illusion of who you thought they were. Silence also brings clarity about your own feelings. When you stop speaking, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect on what you truly want and need in your relationships. You stop reacting out of emotion and start seeing things with a clear mind. You begin to recognize patterns, behaviors, and dynamics that were once hidden beneath the surface. In these moments of stillness, you allow your heart to process everything that has happened without the noise of confusion or external pressure. This clarity is empowering. It helps you make decisions about who truly deserves a place in your life and who you need to let go. What's powerful about this is that it doesn't require any outward action on your part. The silence you choose speaks for itself. You don't need to tell anyone what you've learned, and you don't need to explain why you're stepping away. The truth will become apparent through your absence. Those who genuinely care for you will notice your silence and will either seek to understand it or respect it. On the other hand, those who are only there for their own benefit will likely move on, leaving you with the space to heal and grow. When people realize that your silence isn't an invitation for them to return, but a sign that you've moved on, it becomes their own reckoning. Some may regret their actions, but others will continue to reveal their true character. And that's where the power lies, because you now know. You know who has the capacity to love and support you, and who was never truly interested in building something real. Your silence has allowed you to filter out the noise and see people for who they are, not who you hoped they would be. This is not to say that silence is meant to punish others. It's not about being bitter or holding grudges. Silence is about clarity. Clarity in recognizing who is worth your time, your energy, and your love. It's about stopping the cycle of self-doubt and giving yourself permission to walk away from those who drain you. When you allow silence to reveal the truth, you are, in essence, protecting your peace and your future from people who never truly valued you. We often think of empowerment as something external, a promotion at work, a public recognition, a relationship that boosts our self-esteem. But true empowerment comes from within, from the quiet confidence that arises when we stop seeking validation from the outside world and begin to trust ourselves. Silence is an incredibly powerful tool for self-empowerment because it allows us to reconnect with our inner voice, to listen to our instincts, and to reclaim control over our thoughts and emotions. In the noise of everyday life, it's easy to lose sight of who we are. We get caught up in the demands of others, in societal expectations, and in the endless cycle of doing more, being more, and achieving more. We forget to ask ourselves what we need, what we truly desire. Silence provides the space for us to step away from all of this, to pause, and to check in with ourselves. It is in these quiet moments that we can hear our own voice clearly for the first time in a long while. We no longer need to rely on others to tell us what to do, how to feel, or who we should be. The power to shape our own reality lies in our ability to listen to our own inner wisdom, and silence allows us to do just that. When you choose silence, you are making a conscious decision to take back your power. You are saying, I no longer need to explain myself, to justify my choices, or to fight for a place in anyone's life. I trust my own instincts. I trust my own journey. This act of self-empowerment is deeply freeing. It releases you from the shackles of other people's opinions and demands, and it allows you to operate from a place of clarity and authenticity. You no longer feel obligated to meet others' expectations. Instead, you start to define your own success, your own happiness, and your own worth. Silence also empowers you to create and protect your boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are simply the limits we place on how we allow others to treat us. When you remain silent in the face of negativity, disrespect, or manipulation, you are silently but firmly reinforcing your boundaries. You are showing the world that you will not tolerate behavior that is not in alignment with your values. Silence allows you to stand your ground without having to engage in conflict. You don't need to argue or prove anything. Your silence alone becomes the boundary. You let others know that you will not allow them to disrupt your peace, and in doing so, you create space for healthy relationships, respect, and mutual understanding. This kind of self-empowerment isn't about being passive or detached. It's about being fully in control of your emotional energy and choosing when and where to invest it. Silence helps you conserve your energy for what truly matters: your own growth, your own peace, and your own well-being. Instead of wasting energy on people or situations that drain you, you learn to invest it in your personal development, in your passions, and in the things that nourish your soul. This is a powerful shift. It's a decision to prioritize your own needs and desires over the constant pressure to please others or to conform to external expectations. Silence also teaches you to trust your own decisions. It removes the noise of external opinions and judgments, allowing you to make choices that are truly aligned with your values. When you stop seeking constant reassurance or approval from others, you begin to recognize that you are fully capable of making the best decisions for yourself. Silence is not about avoiding others. It's about trusting yourself enough to stand firm in your decisions, even when others may not understand them. It's an act of self-empowerment to trust your inner guidance system and move forward confidently, regardless of the opinions of others. As you continue to embrace silence, you'll start to realize that it's not just about the absence of sound, it's about the presence of peace, confidence, and self-reliance. In silence, you find the strength to be alone, to sit with your thoughts, and to find clarity in the stillness. You realize that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. It exists within you always. Silence is your invitation to reconnect with that inner power, to remember who you are and what you're capable of, and to trust that you are enough, just as you are. Self-empowerment doesn't come from loud proclamations or external achievements. It comes from quiet moments of introspection where you choose to stand in your truth, trust your instincts, and create your own path. Silence is the tool that helps you reconnect with your authentic self, regain control over your life, and claim your power. By embracing silence, you give yourself the freedom to make decisions that serve your highest good, and you empower yourself to live a life that is true to who you are, not who others want you to be. Silence carries with it the poignant reminder that your inherent worth is not measured by the noise of others, but by the quiet confidence of your own being, a truth that resonates deep within when you cease to offer explanations for your existence or compromise your integrity to fit into someone else's narrative. It is in the stillness, away from the clamor of expectations and the endless chatter of societal pressures, that you begin to see the reflection of your own value emerging unfiltered. A reflection that reminds you you do not need to prove or justify yourself to anyone because your worth is intrinsic and unassailable. In those moments of deliberate quiet, you discover the strength to appreciate your own journey and the progress you've made, honoring every scar, every lesson, and every victory that has brought you to this point without ever needing to shout or seek validation. This silence becomes a sanctuary where you nurture self-love, allowing the truth of your existence to stand tall and recognized by you alone, even if the world remains oblivious or indifferent to the gems you hold within. It is a powerful shift, a conscious choice to let the absence of external affirmation reveal the beauty of your resilience and the undeniable truth that, by simply existing, you deserve respect, care, and the space to flourish. In this space, where words are unnecessary and your value is self-evident, you become the guardian of your own spirit, ensuring that no one can diminish your light simply because you choose to honor your inner worth over the superficial noise of fleeting opinions. And it is here, in the echo of your silence, that the profound power of your self-worth is both acknowledged and magnified, continuously reminding you that you are enough exactly as you are. Conclusion. Silence isn't weakness, it isn't surrender. It's the most powerful declaration you can make when the world has tried to make you small, when people have taken you for granted, when your worth has been questioned or ignored. In silence, you find everything they couldn't give you: clarity, peace, self-respect, and truth. You no longer need to beg to be heard or seen. You no longer have to over-explain or chase closure. You are your own closure now. Your silence is not a void, it is a boundary, a choice, a healing space. And in that space, something beautiful begins to happen. They start to notice your absence. They start to feel the weight of your stillness. They may regret, they may reflect, or they may continue on unchanged, but none of that matters anymore. because this isn't about them. This is about you remembering who you are without the noise, without the chaos, without the need to convince anyone of your worth. You are not here to prove. You are here to live, to love, to grow, and to rise. In silence if you must, but always in truth. Let your silence be the reminder of your value, the evidence of your strength, and the beginning of everything they'll wish they hadn't lost.